Good evening, all of you batrachologists. This is Erico Blueberry. It's an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is chillybin.
Oh, frogs. Meckii.
Batrachology, the study of frogs and amphibians.
Frogs.
I'm surprised we didn't see that drop in Destiny this week with the introduction of frog, but we will get to that. Everybody's talking about frog. I'm here as a pro frog guardian. At least this one particular frog. We've got a couple of weeks of story to get caught up on here. We missed one last week, so hey, 2 weeks. Weeks 1 and 2 of Act 2 of Echoes.
Yes.
If I've got that right, which is episode 1 of this new post-season episode way of doing things. So episode 1, Act 2, weeks 1 and 2. Eventually this will become normal, but I am struggling to see how this isn't just seasons with a different rapper.
It's part 2 of part 1.
We get the next 50 season ranks unlocked and all the notifications go crazy. But hey, last week, how did last week kick off? Because all I can remember is the battleground.
There's a cutscene that they kind of recap the Echo.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
how
that's right.
how it came about, and basically it's Ikora explaining that it, as we've said in the past, it is what happened when the darkness and the memories of the witness, as a singular, not a plural, collided with the light, and it broke off into these echoes or anomalies.
Yes.
And then one of them went into Nessus, created a big hole.
Yes.
And then they were like, turns out someone found it, we think. And was basically like, we don't know what the conductor is. Is the conductor the echo? Like,
yeah,
we still don't completely understand what it is.
That's kind of the only thing I wrote down about that cutscene. Is it made me question, is the echo the conductor in physical? Is the conductor the echo in physical form? Because something I think Ikora says during that cutscene maybe hinted in that direction. Because it's challenging to be it's just a ball of amorphous energy, and okay, but what does it do? Whereas if you say oh, there's this thing in the Vex network and it put itself into this and turned it into a body, it's okay, that's more tangible. I can wrap my head around that a bit more.
Yeah, and we've seen people with the Vex network do some funky shit in the past.
Yeah.
So
Ashamir got up inside Harpy once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
possessed of Vex,
yeah,
basically.
Let me hit you with a quick download one time. Harpy. I'm gonna get in there.
Coming in.
Yeah, it's like Super Mario Odyssey. He just threw his hat on top of that harpy, and then he was like, whoa, 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 I'm gonna help you out in this mission, or whatever the fuck it was.
What is it, Casper? When he gets possessed by the uncles.
Yeah.
And he's trying to rip
It's like in the Matrix, where Neo first goes crazy and sees all the Matrix and everything. He dives into Agent Smith's fucking belly button and then just is inside of him and makes him explode. That I think is what Ashamir is up to. He saw the code and he was I'm getting in the harpy.
What other 90s movies can we reference? It's
Dude,
like the
Matrix came out in
Frighteners. He's in the walls. It's like the Frighteners. He's in the walls.
He's in the walls, except the walls are a harpy and he is inside them. Anyway, that was the beginning of week 1 of Act 2. Was kind of a recap, and then we basically left Act 1 of they're draining all the radiolaria. Where to? And that is where that first week picked up. Is you're going to get the first 2 of the 3 battlegrounds, right? Those both dropped last week. And like they said in that developer preview, you are basically you're following the radiolaria down. They were neat as hell, big open spaces inside of Nessus, way bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah,
just classic big Vex geometry, which I love to see. And also we're getting to Nessus is such an old location as far as Destiny 2 goes, and we are seeing very new Nessus. And in some cases, they just took a lake and drained it, and that was always there, maybe. I don't know. And now we go inside the planet, and
It's
it's
like in
crazy.
America where they flood entire like entire
Yeah.
cities to make dams and lakes.
Mm. Hey, I've done that in City Skylines, dude. Like, sometimes you just need a dam more than you need people. That's grim.
Poor people? No.
No.
Dams? Yes.
Hydroelectricity, rich people pay for that shit.
We need it for our mansions.
Yeah, we're here to gentrify
Um
Nessus.
the Vex are thinking for themselves. Gentrify. We need to put a Starbucks here ASAP.
Starbucks in a football stadium.
Radio Laura Frappe.
Sports betting. The Vex would love that, actually. They'd always win. That's the problem.
The fucking crypto arena. It's sponsored by Raul.
Raul coin.
Prime Engram Arena.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yes. So we do the battlegrounds. We basically get like, where does it take us? I'm trying to remember like where you get to by the end of those battlegrounds.
Up and then down.
Yeah.
So the first one takes you up, and then you run through and you go down in the tower. And there's the basin that when you clear the enemies, that basin opens up and you go down again.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically
And
just a big
there's
drain.
basically like sections of like slanted hill with Radio Laura going down.
That's it. Yeah. So that was neat. That was all week one. There's also some radio messages that kind of hit a bit hard. More stuff coming from more sad boy hours with Saint 14. Just hitting that drum of I don't think I'm real, but being incredibly sad about it and not really wanting to talk to Osiris. And then there's some sweet voice lines between like Saint and Failsafe at the end of one of the battlegrounds where Failsafe like talks him into having a conversation with Osiris.
The big hit for me here is basically we do get confirmation that Osiris didn't pull his saint out. He pulled a saint from a different timeline, because there's that conversation where he says to Osiris, "Who said I love you first?" And Osiris said, "You just let it slip out, like it was normal, like when we were discussing a mission." And then Osiris goes, "Well, that's not how it happened for me." And then tells a completely different story. And he's just like, I don't think I'm your Osiris. You went into the network, or the was he in
the Infinite Forest?
Yeah. You went in blind and you pulled out the wrong saint. Like that's basically the gist of the conversation. And that kind of kicked me in the guts, because it's like it kind of feels like Osiris was so desperate to have his love back that he was just like close enough.
Yeah. And it's also like, as soon as you start thinking about like multiple universe type storylines, it's like there are universes where they aren't together and they are enemies. Even
they hate each other.
Every possibility
some lore
exists.
books, yeah.
So
they didn't really like each other to begin with.
Yeah. So it feels like, I don't know, potentially naive to be like, yeah, he could have just had a saint from any timeline and you would get this storyline. It's like, yeah, but that's not how this works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm eager to see how they try and like resolve this storyline, because I don't know that I love how much they're beating this drum of like, oh, I just pulled any old saint out. It's like, yeah, but like, is that really satisfying as far as stories go? I don't know.
Yeah. That kind of kicked me in the guts, where I was like, oh.
Yeah.
He kind of has a point.
Yeah. Yeah, you like, this is not the match that you thought it was.
You took another Osiris's saint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. And then I played some Gambit in the days between resets and doing all the story. You didn't play Iron Banner?
No, I didn't. I was just going to say that. As much as I committed on the last episode to at least do a little bit, I honestly just kept playing Baldur's Gate. Sorry. Not sorry. I had a good time. I'm in Act 3.
I'm
It's,
doing a dirge run. I'm
yeah,
not gonna punish you. I'm
yeah,
having a
yeah.
great time.
No, it's good. I got a divination wizard and I'm choosing what other people roll. It's sick. It's like, you thought you hit me? No, you didn't.
My noise is just how many different ways can I romance Gale?
Yeah,
Turns out very hard in a dirge run. He doesn't exactly agree with it.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
um
But yes,
so yeah,
no
it was
IB for
just
me.
yeah, we didn't pop any titles in the 3 or 4 days between finishing story and reset.
No. And
And then
then,
reset happens
yes.
and we basically load straight into chat 2. No, we have to go get samples. And then we go talk to Failsafe.
Yes, there's like a conversation we had with Ikora pretty early too this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that does come first.
Ikora's starting to kind of drill down on her theories about the conductor a little bit, coming to a few revelations where she's like, "Oh shit."
Mm,
She seems to be getting a little bit stressed, according to Failsafe.
yeah.
She seems to be showing some signs of stress over theories that are coming up in world, in game, over who the conductor might be. The big thing for me I noticed was that after saying that something was wrong with the radial area, Failsafe then comes back to us and says, "Actually, I didn't find any anomalies in the radial area. It's not the radial area." And we're like, "Huh. Why Vex do then?"
Yeah.
Because like I think we went into it assuming it was the radial area.
Mm.
And there was a lot of conversation around, "Oh, they're acting different. Radial area is technically the
But they're
Vex,
also
like
like
the juice box."
taking all the radial areas somewhere else. Surely for
Yeah.
something, right?
Like they're kind of like hoarding
Mm.
the radial area somewhere.
Mm.
So Failsafe decides to put nano machines in the radial area for us to deposit so that she can track where the radial area is going.
Yeah, they're putting fluoride in the water supply.
Don't make
5G.
the freaking frogs
They're
gay.
putting 5G in the milk.
Oh no. Um, so we basically, without boiling it down to Destiny 2 fetch quests, it was a lot of fetch
Well, it's
quests.
more like a put quest. We're going to go put the milk back
Yeah.
and then fetch the results.
We had to go and put the nanobites in, follow the nanobites down, and then go and collect different samples
Mm-hmm.
and give them back to Failsafe,
Yeah.
basically.
And
And we
then is it at
see,
this point where Failsafe is like, oh, I had this idea I told Ikora and she told me to never say that to anyone else.
yeah, after saying it,
It's very funny.
I forgot what it
But then
was,
you go
but she
talk
was
then you
like,
go talk to Ikora and she just tells you what the fucking idea was. And that was
yeah,
like um it was essentially that like Failsafe needs a huge amount of data to figure out what the fuck is going on, and the only place that exists is inside the mind of Saint that is still inside the Infinite Forest. Like the dead Saint that is in the Infinite Forest, their mind is where all the data is that we need to process everything that Failsafe has found so far,
yeah.
which is insane.
Ikora's like, "Ayo, we're about to do some questionable shit."
Yeah, and that was Failsafe's idea.
Yeah.
Unhinged.
And Ikora being like, "Oh, it's a fucking robot." The AI says it's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to take this dead man's brain, plug it into this AI, and then it's going to spit out the answer, I guess, of what the Vex are up to. Is that?
But also, like, just a little pre-thought here. What's that gonna do to Saint?
Well, it's a different saint.
But like having the real,
Mm.
for our timeline, the real Saint fucking head there,
Yeah,
plugged into Failsafe, downloading that data, and he's still in this timeline.
yeah.
That's gotta fuck with you,
What
hey?
if they take the dead saint body and upload Failsafe's consciousness into it?
Oh, and then we end up with another weird red
Or
situation
we end up with
where
like,
it's
no, then the current saint that we have turns bad and is an enemy we have to fight, and we use the the failsafe saint. This is weird. But any of this is possible.
they they say, fuck it, it's Clovis again.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just put
Download
we'll
Clovis
take
again.
we'll take the body that they were going to put Rasputin into, put the dead saint's head on it, jack that into a computer, and put failsafe in that.
Put failsafe in the big head.
Mm. Yep.
I just love like just the meme in the community that fuck it, everything is Clovis. So they're just like, Clovis is back.
Yeah, the Vex
He's
is
like
just Clovis.
downloaded into fucking Banshee or something.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the third battleground, which goes all the way to presumably Nessus's core or close to it. That was kind of the story they told in the dev preview. Is like these three battlegrounds will take you on a journey to the core. It didn't look terribly planet core like, but then if it's been like terraformed by the Vex inside, then it kind of did look like that. Just a big fucking Cyclops down there is the new Vex mind to contend with.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's huge. And you're just like doing a circle around this arena as these two like walls of death like are fencing you off and just moving around, and you're just shooting this thing around the outside.
That
Stressful.
Cyclops loaded in, and I was like, get fucked.
Yeah. It took a beating too.
I'm emotionally scarred from the first time we encountered those Cyclops a few expansions ago, where they were a one hit.
Yeah.
And then in day one, Vault of Glass, one hit.
Oh, even
I just saw it, and I was like,
that, like,
I hate you.
That first run of Spire of the Watcher, where you load into that opening area, you've got to join all the cables, and there are just Cyclopses, two on either side, up on the
mountains,
up on the fucking cliffs, just raining down on you. And when I've tried to like work through a strategy for doing that dungeon solo, that's what always gets me, is those fucking Cyclops.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing, I was just like, great. Giant Cyclopses,
Big shields
the
on
harpies,
it. Yeah.
the harpies teleport.
Yeah. Every now and then you got to deal with wyverns, and they're teleporting in around now.
Oh, that's
too.
it. The wyverns.
Yeah.
The wyverns teleport. The chickens teleport.
Yeah, good battlegrounds.
Yeah, actually, I've only done it for the story, but we'll get to Frog soon. But I will probably have to run it a few times to get Bufo bites.
Bufo, these nuts. It's still good.
Boofing the Bufo.
Oh no. Yes, we should talk about Frog. So as we've seen so far in Echoes, we do the actual like story quest stuff, and there's like this other little quest that pops up every week where you go and get
specimen collection.
You go and get research specimens. So we're now up to 5. Based on the icons for these quests, it seems like we will get 9, so 3 every act, because there's 3 weeks of story. That lines up 3 by 3.
So far, it's been mostly plants.
Yeah, it's plants. You go put them in your little tanks in the helm, and they're cool. They just sit in there, and you look at your little terrarium. But yeah, this time it was like you do that quest, you keep going, and then right at the end of it, you're like in Nessus, in the guts of Nessus somewhere, and you go to the objective marker, and it's a little actual live frog.
It's a little frog sitting on a dead Vex.
It's just sitting there, and you press E to collect it.
Snatch him up.
You get him, and then take him to the helm, and you're gonna put him in a little enclosure. Not before Failsafe decides to name that frog, and Failsafe names it after their former captain, Captain Jacobson. The frog's name, Captain Jacobson.
He's just a little fella.
Absolute king. Yeah, then you go stash him in the helm.
I like how she's like, it's in name, not in title. Don't worry, he's not your actual captain.
Yeah, he doesn't have any actual authority.
Shit, Failsafe.
It's so funny. Failsafe's writing, top tier.
And then you put him in his little engram and shaped enclosure, and you can pat him.
You can.
But Failsafe says, "Don't lick the frog because his secretions are necrotic."
Yeah. Yeah.
Not you'll get high. He's a little bit poisonous. It's like, oh no, his
Yeah,
secretions are necrotic.
your tongue will fall off, my guy.
She's like, put gloves on before you pat him.
It's like, no, I already pressed it. I already touched. Yeah. Good stuff. And then, yeah, you get a little quest to go and essentially get food for it. And they are, for some reason, called Bufo Bites. Bufo Bites.
Yeah, Failsafe has decided to name the samples that you get to feed him because and this is the explanation. Failsafe is worried that he looks a little hungry.
But why Bufo? What's Bufo?
Or what is Bufo?
I'm not Googling that. God. But yes, everyone is in love with Frog. I am also in love with Frog.
I love Frog.
Thank you, Bungie, for finally giving us Frog.
There's always been frogs on Nessus. You would go near them and they'd go away.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
they're just set
this
dressing.
little guy.
This is actual Frog. Now I want the Frog to follow me into battle.
I want the Frog to be my best friend. Oh.
Yes?
Bufo.
Uh-oh.
A large genus, family Bufonidae, of toads that contains the common toads of America, Europe, and is represented on all continents except Australia.
Okay.
It's a genus of toad. So he's not a frog, he's a toad.
Yeah, so that's where we get Bungie inserting weird specific nouns that we've never heard of before. It's not batrachology, it's Bufo.
Bufo also means clown or funny man in some Southern Creole slang.
I'm not laughing at this frog. I take him very seriously.
He's a toad.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to.
As we've learned.
I don't want to misrepresent the toad here. But I want to call him a frog. Toad sounds more, I don't know, just negative connotations from like a lot of storytelling of toads having warts and being this kind of gross. Frogs are just like cute little slimy round guys.
Seeing all the frog hype reminded me of the meme that went around the Destiny community like 3 years ago, which was someone pulled up old Destiny art that has a giant frog in it that just says, "Give us the frog."
Dear Bungie, give us the frog.
Just, dear Bungie, give us the frog.
Hey, they did.
So I'm hoping.
Although it's a lot smaller than that.
I'm hoping that Captain Jacobson gets bigger the more Bufo bites would give him.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. This is how we get to like the next big bad. We like knowing what Destiny players are like. We like chronically overfeed this frog. It grows too big for the helm. It bursts out of the helm, but somehow can breathe in space and just keeps getting bigger and bigger and is big enough to eat planets. And that is why we have to leave the solar system.
It's the new Leviathan.
Yes.
Because it's a frog. It's got this big tongue that like...
Yes.
It's eating ships like frogs eat flies.
Yeah. So instead of like the darkness coming along and sunsetting all these planets, the frog eats the moon.
The omniscient frog consumes.
His fucking eyes just roll into the back of its head. They turn into stars. I see everything. Captain Jacobson knows all.
But he's still got a little hat.
Yeah. Just the hat is just an arm of the Milky Way galaxy.
Give us big frog. Bungie, you know what to do. Give us the omniscient space frog.
That's like some Douglas Adams shit. Like,
I have become frog, consumer of worlds.
I have become Captain Jacobson. Oh, God. I love this guy. Love this little guy.
He's just a little fella.
That's right. Whew, gosh. Okay, I need to, like, calm down after that. Like I'm in a fever dream. Maybe drinking whiskey while we record was not a good idea.
I just keep thinking of this frog floating through space, but it's like, you know when frogs float and their arms and their legs are just like out?
Full splay, yeah.
He's just going. Sir!
He discovered interstellar travel. Ribbit. Oh, what a good little guy.
An almighty ribbit ripples through the universe.
The big croak.
Like when a star collapses and it lets out like it's not the collapse. Gather, children, let me tell you about the big ribbit.
The big croak that we all endured.
The big ribbit.
Oh god.
Bungie, give us Big Frog. Let us feed him.
I don't think we're ready for Big Frog. I think we got to work up to that.
Until he's one of those big fat American bullfuckers.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Maybe he'll get just big enough to be able to pilot the helm and we can fly it off somewhere and have adventures. Then he's a real captain.
Just staring aimlessly with his fucking 6 eyes, just fucking dead-eyed, no clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
I love Frog. I love all the possibilities of Captain Jacobson.
So the thing is, I'm glad we're getting like so much mileage out of this Captain Jacobson bit, because I really don't have a lot else to talk about this week. Like there isn't much else happening at the moment in the game.
No, there's not many announcements. I think we're due for the Dawning soon.
Is it the Dawning? No, that's
Dawning?
Christmas. It's not Solstice, is it?
Yeah, Solstice.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Yeah, that should be soon.
It's getting close to American summer, so yeah, we'll get Midsummer soon.
Yeah, well, we got one more week of story, and then those events are usually 3 weeks. So I feel like if it's like 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, as it has been, then I feel like it would take the next little break. So yeah, I could see it being finish Act 2, Solstice, come back for Act 3. But they also haven't said that, right? I don't know. I'd have to go looking to see if they've put dates on it. But
I reckon tomorrow we'll be having this conversation, and then tomorrow morning's twab will be, "Wow, Solstice
fucking
coming!"
Literally, like
with release dates.
Yeah,
shit.
we're recording this the day before the TWID goes out. So like, hey, if it is Solstice after this next week, like we predicted it. There you go. Oh look, I can hold my watch up, prove what date it is. We're recording this the day before.
Bungie's reliable patterns to predict it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind how that fits in with the way they're doing the narrative rollout now. If it's like, cool, you get your 3 weeks for the act, and then you've got this like 3 week gap before the next act comes through. And yeah, that feels like a good place to just slot one of these events.
It's also going to be the first time we do a community event post Final Shape too. So I'm curious how they change, because the environment and the context of the universe of Destiny has changed since the Witness was defeated.
Yes.
So
yeah, we have.
I'm hoping
big
they
things
use that as
big things to celebrate. Yeah, a lot of those events are usually around like, let's celebrate and come together. It's like, okay, yeah, we saved the fucking universe. What now?
I'm kind of hoping they use that as an excuse to refurb some of the
really
older community activities.
Yeah. So yeah, the thing I'm also very curious about is when we get to the next episode and they're doing that experiment where they drop all of the story up front, how do they manage the like weekly rollout of everything else, and how do they manage the seasonal event coming through without like everybody kind of burning out on the story and dropping off? Like it feels like it has that potential, considering that like there isn't much else in terms of like regular hooks for people to keep playing, like unless you've developed for yourself a grind around Crucible or Gambit and you want to like do that every week. You kind of have to make that for yourself, right?
Are they potentially going to give players like a chase? You know what I mean? Like every week we're going to have a highlighted activity and you can do X, Y, and Z in the activity to drop this weapon or this armor piece. Like
I feel like that's kind of what the Pathfinder system is doing. Like the Pathfinder will develop towards the stuff you do more, it seems like. So
but it's like, are they gonna flesh out like a specific chase to keep people coming back, or like special community events? You know how they do the little fun surprise events? Like, are they gonna do those occasionally?
When was the last one of those? What was it?
The sword kills, and we did it in like an hour.
The sword kills.
Remember, we had to get like a certain amount of sword kills across the universe.
Oh yeah, wasn't that like an event challenge though? Was that something
No,
else?
I think it was just a random thing they did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just curious to see if, like, to me, it seems like the easiest thing to navigate the potential drop off is
Yeah.
just give us chases, give us stuff to chase,
Yeah.
um, or special events within. Bring
Well, I
fucking
think the thing is
Gambit
like
Prime back for a week, or
I doubt that. But like, given how recently they announced that they're doing this experiment with the next episode, I wonder how much of that stuff they've even had time to build out, or if they're just like,
mm,
oh, we're just going to try this to see if people stop fucking bitching and moaning about having to wait for story to drop.
mm. It'll be interesting.
Yeah,
It's an experiment for everyone.
yeah, because like there's already like I'm already having a bit of that feeling of like because I haven't found a group to like regularly do raids with and things like that. Um, there isn't that kind of regular pull back into the game outside of the story for me at the moment. Um, and like I also like want to try and change that for myself, but I also have a lot of other shit going on at the moment, so I don't have a lot of time to like go and find a raid group and then get comfortable with that and spend hours and hours on that because I'm still trying to move house and do some other stuff. So it also, as much as like I kind of would like to be doing more with Destiny, I also am glad that I don't feel like I have to. Like
Yeah.
I'm able to get through the story stuff. I'm getting the season ranks. I'm getting the rewards. Like that's all fine. I'm also just thinking ahead to like what do I think will make me want to do more?
I might have a look at the titles and
Hmm.
maybe try and chase another title.
Oh yeah, pick a real weird one people won't expect.
Yeah. Fucking imagine me dropping Dredgen.
Do you not have that? I just figured by now we would have done enough Gambit within one season or episode for you to have like gotten close enough. Wow. Okay.
No.
I mean, getting it for the first time is kind of a pain in the ass.
4 out of 9.
Okay, yeah, you are not close.
It's mostly the stuff like deposit 50 motes, like the
Within a
mote
single
depositing
match.
shit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's hard because I mostly play with bloops.
Yeah, like there are some of those that you don't need a full fire team to get done, but they do make it way easier. Like I think one of them is like you or someone on your team has to deposit 75 motes by yourself in the match.
Mm.
That's fucked.
Yeah, it's stuff like that that I haven't done,
Yeah,
and like the obvious easy stuff like kill 40 enemies without dying, that's
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. To be fair, some
It's
of those
mostly the
ones I got.
the
Well,
moat
there was a
the
group
moat
of us.
collecting
Yeah,
ones.
there was a group of us that got them all at about the same time. So we would just jump in, kind of rotate those roles around, and that made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or maybe I'll look at one of the older dungeons and see if I can solo it, or
yeah, yeah.
I would like to run Warlords again. I've only done that once.
I think. Yeah, I think I've done it once or twice. Yeah, yeah. That one. Yeah, I would like to do that again. That's fun.
Yeah. Because Grasp became our like, hey, you want to run a dungeon?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
And then for a while it was Brood of Nightmares? No, that's a raid.
that's a raid, dude.
That's Ron. Um Duality.
Yeah, yeah. We did do a lot of duality. Enjoy duality.
Duality, once you get the hang of it, is a lot of it does become a bit of like a whatever raid to run. Like not whatever, but like
Comfortable.
not raid, dungeon.
Yeah,
It's like one of those ones where it's like, you gonna do a dungeon tonight?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Once you get the
I've got a bounty or a quest that needs me to do a dungeon.
yeah, once you get the routines and like the little loops going in duality, it's actually really satisfying. It's not
Yeah.
like super challenging once you get comfortable with it, but it is like it feels good to hit those loops,
Yeah.
running and hitting the bells and getting all the stuff. Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, it'll be fun to maybe do some dungeons we haven't done in a while or
Mm.
have done barely any of.
Yeah, we still got to get back into Dual Destiny.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
am at 2K
You've
now.
been at power for a while. Yeah.
And I think my enhanced void
Hmm.
is going to keep me alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should do that because otherwise you can't get exotic class items.
Yeah, I do need that for a couple of builds,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
actually. There is some
So
rolls that I need
the funny thing is, like, because I did that
for my
prismatic.
prismatic builds.
Yeah, I did that prismatic build when we went through the campaign. And then when I finished the campaign, I chose to unlock the chest that shoots all the rockets out. And that is like a pretty generic kind of Titan exotic as far as things go. Like you can use that with anything as long as you're running a rocket launcher because it makes rockets do more damage. So my prismatic build is that chest piece plus like Dragon's Breath. So I unlocked an exotic class item and went, this is not better than me having that. So I still
I
haven't used it.
I've not run prismatic much at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm picking the wrong exotics or what's going on. I'm not having as much fun
Mm.
playing a prismatic warlock as
Yeah,
I
right.
am playing one of my like unhinged single class builds.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely gone back to solar a lot more since we did the campaign and had our
I've
first
been
stuff.
playing of all things, I've been playing Strand a lot lately.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I got my rat build.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
my rat build has been putting in work, especially for ad clear.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing overthrows, I'm
Mm.
just ad clearing
Mm.
like a nutter
Yeah.
with little freaks. And then I've got the threadlings, and then I've also got the spikes that do a lot of damage too.
Mm.
The tangles.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm doing all of it. Um so yeah, it's kind of disappointing I haven't really gone back to prismatic. I would like to do a better prismatic build. I just maybe the class item will push me back into doing that, but
Yeah.
like I'm just
It,
I've got a couple of prismatic builds and they're just not slapping.
yeah. Like the exotic class item, if nothing else, could give you a direction to build in. Because
Yeah.
if you get like two perks that kind of work off of melee abilities, then you can go heavily towards like a prismatic build that will recharge your melee, give you that loop a lot more frequently.
But even then I'm chasing a certain class item because and once again, I have an arc build in mind,
Yeah, but they only work with
which is
prismatic.
yeah, which is like so I might be pushing into more of an arc based prismatic
Yeah.
build because I it's such an inappropriate name, but I've got basically what will be a carpet bombing
Oh
arc
yeah, you've said
warlock.
this.
Yeah. Um just constant storms
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. The thing for me that
Smoting from Zeus.
the thing for me that like really clicked with prismatic, and it took longer than it should have for me to have this realization, is like you need to be roughly equally outputting light and dark damage to really get the most out of it because you want to fill that bar,
Mm.
go prismatic, do all the extra abilities that are really cool and powerful. Um, and it wasn't until I had that realization. This was like after we'd finished the campaign, where I was like, oh yeah, all of my abilities that I've done are like 3/4 all light side. And so I was relying on one gun basically to fill up the other side of that. I was like, I need to change this up.
It's hard because the dark subclasses, especially for Titans and Warlocks, they're more about slowing ads down
Mm,
and containing ads. It's less about wiping ads.
yeah,
So we've got freeze and suspend,
yeah,
but like they're not doing as much damage as they could be.
yeah,
And that's what I think makes it hard. And it's a sentiment that I've heard from other Warlock players where they're just like, it just doesn't feel balanced for Warlock players because in the dark subclasses, a lot of what we do is ad control in the sense of slowing them down or stopping them,
yeah,
not necessarily wiping them. Um, so I think it's maybe finding that balance of freezing or suspending them and then a darkness-based subclass weapon to then wipe them
Yeah, so I've been relying
to trigger the
heavily
like
on the call, the strand sidearm.
yeah. It's
Mostly because the one that I have dropped with subsistence, and on basic minor enemies, it is a one-shot kill. So I'm just running around going like bang, 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 just knocking enemies down, doing good ad clear with this gun because it basically doesn't run out of bullets. And
that's
it's
what I've been
good.
using in my rat build if I want to free up my exotic slot for something else. But otherwise I use that strand submachine gun or
Oh yeah.
sidearm
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
also a submachine gun.
Yeah.
Because it starts the cycle going for my suspend, unravel, needle, like
Yeah.
that cycle
Yep.
going.
Yep, yep, yep.
And then for my stasis build, it relies very much on Osmios and then Verglass or the cold snap, the pistol that is stasis that we got in Beyond Light. Forgot the name of it.
I know the one, and I cannot
You can
remember
see
the
it's got the
name.
little
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah. The fuck is that thing called? I know exactly the one you're talking about.
I'm on my way. Dim, load faster.
God, tell me the answer. I need to know now.
I keep going to call it cold snap, but that's
It's
the grenade.
Chili Boy. No, it's not.
Cryosthesia.
That's the one. Yeah, I was never going to get that. I didn't remember it.
Yeah. Cryosthesia is also really good at setting off my stasis cycle as well.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. I'll find a balance with prismatic. It's just at the moment I'm not having a great time because it doesn't
Yeah.
proc evenly, and it feels very clunky compared to the other streamline builds that I've got going now. Because I think once I figure out the cycle, like the ramp, it's like I'll probably love prismatic, but
Yeah.
I just haven't figured it out yet, like I
Yeah.
have with my void and my arc and my
Yeah.
solar. And
To be fair, the thing that is helicopters, the fuck's going on?
oh, it's the police,
The ops, they're here to talk about prismatic.
the polizia.
There's like a couple of things pulling me towards my prismatic build, and that is the exotic chest piece that shoots rockets, and being able to have a void super and the arc dodge, or even just being able to have the arc dodge with other shit in the toolbox. Like, it's so satisfying as a Titan to not have to use the barricade, because unless I'm in a
Arc dodge with the titty rockets.
yeah, unless I'm in a raid or a dungeon, I am not using barricades, and even then I barely am.
I was gonna say you use bubble over barricade any
Well, no,
day.
like when you run bubble, you still have a barricade available to you. It's your class
Yeah.
ability. The only time you don't have
yeah.
that is when you take the arc thruster dodge. So yeah, being able to use that with other shit is so good.
Yeah, true.
Because yeah, the dodge is useful, but the dodge also shoots rockets, and
Them
it's
titty rockets.
very fun. So that's basically what anything has to compete with at the moment. Is like, if I want to use an exotic class item, can it do a better job than this? Most of the time, no.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll 6 months time I'll be like, oh, I did a prismatic build,
that's
and it'll
kind of
be
what I'm expecting.
it'll be like one of my normal builds where I explain it to you and you're like, how did you one figure that out? Two, that build is fucked.
Well, okay, your builds are one of two things. It's that, or two, how did you not realize this was a thing?
I never got a reading.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll hear more about that soon.
No, I start reading and then I'm like, oh, I can make a really fucked build out of this.
Yes. I think that's gonna bloody do it here for this episode. I think we're tapped out on story content, and therefore I'm sleepy. Not therefore, just also I'm sleepy. It's
Furthermore,
late. Furthermore, I require sleep, and to finish this whiskey, which will send me off to sleep very quickly.
the fucking hello, brothers.
Yeah, it was a bit of that, and like I have never like quoted Sketch But for some reason, like my hand just kind of did a little bit of that pose, and I saw it in the video as we're doing this. So, oops.
Shout out to Sketch.
Furthermore, that's going to do it here for this episode of Erico Blueberry. I almost said for this era of episode Blueberry. Sleep.
It's part 2 of part 1 of section A.
Week 2, Act 2,
Uh,
Episode 1, Echoes. Yeah, hit the buttons, leave a comment, do the things. We appreciate you being here, and we will continue to do so if you continue to be here. How's that? Cool. Until next time, play some bloody Destiny, but only if you want to, and only if you enjoy it.